Oke, I'll wait till you sit down so we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The counselor coming in right now, so she's perfect. Okay. Do you want to wait for a second for roll call then to make sure we get her on the recording? Let's give it 1 minute. I was hoping Torrin would be here.
Yeah, I think he will be.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's probably, he walks, so he should be here.
Okay.
Good news.
Yes, very good news. Very, very happy. Wonderful news. It's been a long 4 months.
Yeah.
Your hair's getting gray.
It was getting gray before. That's kids. Come on.
It's not falling out yet, so it even got bad.
Give it time.
That's why I keep it short, so you
Well, he's
can't
not-
pull it.
Right.
Yeah, but I know your
You say
wife.
you
she
saw
probably-
somebody?
Yeah.
I know.
Dan, did you say you saw somebody on their way?
Yeah. Counselor Meyer saw Counselor Evans coming up, so we're gonna give her a moment.
Okay,
Counselor Evans is our newest counselor.
awesome.
That means I'm dead.
Yeah.
Nice to have a full crew.
Again, yeah, just in time for a new city administrator.
Good.
Yeah, David. So whether it makes the meetings longer with more debate or shorter.
We shall see.
Well, in the planning commission, we like to keep things on track and short and sweet.
That's right.
We don't mess around. We're all about business and getting things done.
Well
love it.
said.
We don't pontificate. That's a word I looked up. Did I use it properly?
I don't think we really do that, but okay.
I can't spell that. I barely spell Fred.
Little purification there.
I gotta look that one up now, Tim. Thanks.
Okay, well, Torrin, I'm hoping he'll trickle in here in a bit. Oh, Counselor Evans. I'm sorry. I hope you're feeling a little better now. Okay. Well, let's go ahead.
Okay, so if we could do, just for the record, so it'll be recorded, if we could each state our name, starting with welcome back. Kristen, if we could state your name and go around so that we have a roll call.
Kristen Strand, present.
Harry Myers, present.
Cindy Evans, present.
Dan Sheets, present.
Jeannie Cuthbertson, present. Kara Williams, present.
Tim Easter, chair.
Brian Ray, present.
Mark Murray, present. Fred Cuthbertson, present.
John Great Ennis, present.
Linda Fredericks here.
Thank you very much.
We need Linda's mic on. There we go.
Well, I don't know if you want to take the lead on this or if you want me to take the lead. or-
Well, I was gonna have you take the lead, but I wanted to mention before we get started, I did send an email out so everybody knows we have a new city administrator. Just signed the offer, accepted it, and he's starting on July 14th. And he has a planning background, so we're very excited about that. So
That would be
hopefully
great.
I'll be less tired soon.
Yeah. That we hope Michael is feeling well.
Yes, absolutely. Hoping,
Very concerned for him.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, so a couple of things, the reason we wanted this joint meeting. There is Chuck Schultz has had a meeting with us and explained the circumstances surrounding both the water plant as well as the wastewater plant. And you're all aware that there's issues and that there's concerns. And he recommended with all of that we do a moratorium on building. And I don't know how much the council has been briefed on that or.
The council is aware. We need to actually go ahead and have an executive session with the city attorney. So that'll probably be the middle of next month at this point.
So there's that that's in the works right now. And basically the wastewater can only handle, the pipe going under the river can only handle 600 gallons a minute. And at times we have 1,200, 1,300 And so it just can't handle it. So, we really are going to look at reducing that. But the other thing that we were here is our system development charges and SDC fees. And one of the things that we've had, and we've had different numbers. We were under the understanding it was 20,000 and change, but we saw paperwork last time that it was still set at 16. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that. My understanding was it was 20 something.
What was the last amount you collected? You surely collected something.
I couldn't tell you when the last time we collected it, so.
That's where I
That'd be-
started.
Do you remember?
I think the last time I was in the office when Dawn was talking about SDCs, she collected half from somebody and it was about $10,000.
Okay.
I remember at 20,500.
I think, yeah, I think,
Yeah.
That's what something. in that
One of the
neighborhood.
things that the methodology we use, and that's one thing we got to discuss too, is at the time, we had no building going on in there, and the planning commission was in the process of getting their comp plan completed and so on and so forth. And we looked around at what was fair, what was an average. We didn't want to gouge somebody. We also had Red Hills getting ready to come in, but we didn't want that to make it a deciding factor in our decision, because that's really kind of underhanded to go ahead and say, hey, we got somebody actually going to build here, let's gouge them. But at the same time, what is responsible for our 723 population, or whatever the current number is, and what is reasonable for us to do. And one of the number the number we came up originally was 20,000, but there have been some differences in the area. Some are charging significantly more and significantly less. But one of the things that SDC fees can only be used for, the things that they cannot be used for is ongoing facility or system maintenance or projects that either fix existing system deficiencies or replace existing capacity. So we can't use it to fix the water plant, but we can do it to improve capacity if we find that's needed. And I think, and I don't know if the wastewater side of it is a need to increase capacity. That's something that we need to.
How much money are you sitting on right now for SDC charges?
I'm thinking that there's probably a couple million sitting in the account right now.
Can't use it for the things we need to be.
I know. Well, there are restrictions. Unfortunately, the state has put a lot of restrictions around that money, and there's a lot of requirements if you do use the money. So yes, I understand the frustration with that. I'm kind of hoping when our new city administrator comes on board, he can help guide us through this a little bit and see if we can figure out a way to use some of that money.
Well, the question I had about at our last meeting was we had a definite increase in capacity from Red Hills and some of the other building. And we didn't do anything to improve our capacity with those SDC fees. So, and again, you can't just say, okay, there's 55 homes times 20,000. We use that. There's a formula that comes in that this percentage of that SDC fee is for wastewater, this one's for water, this one's for parks, and this one's for streets. So there's a formula they use. But can we retroactively go back and use some of those SDC fees to actually help us with improving our situation here? Because we do clearly have a capacity issue on the wastewater side.
I would think that as long as we structure the project as a capacity increase and not a repair or something like that. But I would check with our lawyer, but I would
Yeah.
think that, for instance, the pipe that goes under the river, we were talking about putting it on the bridge over top anyway. And going to a 6-inch main, and it's smaller than that now, right?
no, we have a 6-inch now and we
We're
need
gonna go to
to
10.
increase to a 10, 12.
Yeah.
To me, that's increasing capacity. It should fit that
So,
criteria.
and talking with Chuck, and it kind of sounds like we can use SDCs for that, but the SDCs can't pay for the whole pipe. So basically, it'll pay for the part of the pipe that is increased.
Right,
So the
so
6-inch,
from-
Right,
we have to come up with money for.
right.
So if we had, let's just say they take the price of a 6-inch brand new pipe and deduct it from what we get reimbursed or what we can have to use for the 10-inch pipe cost, which isn't gonna be a lot of difference.
One of the things he talked about too is if we try to go through the permitting process and everything of actually having them bore a new hole under the long tom and all the problems that come with that, gets extremely complicated. What potentially we could do is take and actually bore out the old 6-inch pipe. In other words, eating up the material of the pipe as you're boring. So you're using the same hole and then basically just re-sleeving that with a 10-inch pipe rather than, or 12, but that would be the cheapest and the less permitting, because there's just so many other things you gotta go through permitting process that would be years and years. So that was something we were looking at.
Put it on a structure going on it.
So Mark, if I remember correctly, it's
Oh.
8-inch to the lift station and then 6-inch. is it
Yeah.
6-inch?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I think.
Raise your
the
hand, get his attention.
So if
8 or
you're,
10-inch coming in.
I think when I looked at the map last, it was like an 8-inch that comes in.
We got the 6-inch, and the 6-inch is a force main pushed by 2 pumps. Can't remember the horsepower on them right now. They work intermittently. So they keep up.
Oh,
They're
okay.
pushing-
Go ahead and ask the chair.
The sewage through right now. But in the winter months, they're working hard.
Oh, yeah.
So
So
Well, I guess I'm just trying to, we're following the definition of the SDC. means
affects some of our.
Replacing from the pumps there for the expansion, then I don't see why it wouldn't be covered.
I have a question. There's the land behind Red Hills that the city wants to
Right.
take. So if the city gets that, that's gonna be increased residential. Going forward with the larger pipes, will that be able to handle the extra people there? Or
What Chuck
are we gonna
said,
have to do something in addition?
what Chuck said was a 10-inch would be,
Adequate for.
just believe it or not, just that 4 inches of volume increase
Mhm.
is like
Yeah.
4,000, increases it to like 4,000. I mean, it's just
I can't remember exact numbers, but yeah, it was a significant increase. Yeah.
So should be enough to cover those.
yeah.
Also, he said in a perfect world, 3 pumps would be better.
Mhm.
Yeah, because of the rest period, you don't want to have any
Right.
overtaxing your pumps. You want to have a rest period and a backup. So right now, the backup is your second pump, and if you'd had 2 go down and, there's a lot of other things go into that. A lot of our old sewer systems, as you're aware, in town, there's actually cracks between them and, between where the pipes join, where a lot of the storm water is getting into. Some of the houses actually have their storm water diverted right into the wastewater. That was the way they used to do it back in the day, was diluted. So what they would do is all the storm water that was come down, that was great. They would just dilute the wastewater and send it down the river, and that was acceptable. And a lot of what we're going through is what was acceptable. They've only really managed storm wastewater for like 60 years or something like that. He said it was really, and they've really changed. And what we're behind, we're not necessarily behind because we didn't do anything. We're behind because regulations have increased and increased and increased. And now our water and our storm water are not adequate in capacity, and the way they filter is just not adequate.
What's
So
the pipe made of that goes under the river? Concrete,
No, that's PVC.
is it?
Yeah.
When was it installed?
I have no idea.
You're sure it's PVC?
Now you got me questioning. myself, but I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
If they bored it, I don't know.
Did they do it when they put in the new lagoons or no?
Counselor?
I was just gonna mention too that, I think at one point it was brought up, and I'm not sure who brought it up, so I don't know, but that going underneath the river might not even be an option anymore because DEQ is getting so stinky with stuff. So
That
That
is a
might-
possibility.
that might
yes.
be a possibility that we need to look at as well.
I hadn't heard that. Chuck said if we wanted to punch in a new line. that
And then
we
maybe
would
that's what it
run into all
was.
that. But he says but basically repairing or replacing an existing line is acceptable.
Okay, and I wasn't sure, because I just remembered him saying something about that, and I wasn't quite sure what it was, but I know anything that says DEQ, we gotta.
Yeah,
He said the other option too is that we could go down and go underneath the bridge
yeah.
and then come back in. He says, but then you're dealing with ODOT
ODOT.
and a bunch of other
Yeah.
things. He said, so what could be the most, and we got to think about our citizens here and what's going to be the cheapest for the taxpayer.
Right. Exactly.
And he felt that the biggest bang for our buck and the most would be boring out that existing, putting a 10-inch and improving the pump.
Do we have
size.
to have engineering look at how deep that line goes under the bed of the river?
There's gonna be.
Yeah, so that was the other thing, and not to get, yeah, but once we get an engineer of record, this is the way he put it, the engineer of record, once they're in, we've already done feasibility studies. So the feasibility studies are done, that part of it's done. So then whoever becomes our engineer of record, they take the studies and they design the system, the water system and the wastewater improvements, and they take those and they design what improvements are. So they get the engineering specs and they're done. And then they also give us what potential financing options are. And he said, basically, the council will sit down and with us in front of all these different agencies that will sit here and they'll pitch what they'll do and for what money of the project. And then basically it becomes a council decision that, okay, the best thing for, in the event that we aren't able to do a bond, or if we are able to do a bond, or if, if it's a grant, or there's a bunch of different options. But basically, he says the only other thing that could happen, which was kind of a scary option, is let's say that we put out to the voters for a bond and the voter said, no, we're not, no way. Then they just come in and say, okay, we're gonna, for example, the water plant, we're gonna build a new water plant for you, and here's the bill. And you have 10 years to pay it off. And that's how they handle it.
You know, that bridge down there is not ADA available,
Compliant.
so compliant, yeah. So it might be behoove to look at the ODOT about maybe them looking into making that ADA, because we have a park over there and a bathroom and people use that bridge and it's, you're only talking a pathway this wide. And
Mhm.
I mean, you get them on board, maybe you can put the line on there. But
I don't know.
all I know is,
Yeah, I know,
They
I
would go
know.
for that. I don't think it's intended to be a pedestrian bridge at all.
It's a sidewalk and it should be ADA.
ADA is
Yeah, that
still
may-
ADA.
Yeah, that may be a selling point for us.
Yeah,
It could be, but they're
Tim, that's a
so,
great point. That might be something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look more at ADAs now that I have something to make me ADA.
Yeah.
I understand.
So I did locate all of the methodology and the process that Civil West did for the city in 2020, 2021 to set this, the SDC fee. So it's here. You had to identify all the projects you would pay for and the percentage of the projects you could cover. The wastewater part does not have increased capacity, but at the end of this, it does say that every few years, the city should sit down and reevaluate projects and add projects or take projects away. So
Right.
I think this, at the time, the city realized they couldn't, none of us are civil engineers, so we couldn't do all this work that we're talking about. You actually had to hire a company. Civil West did the work. And it does, in fact, by based all the work that was concluded in the fees, they were recommending we have an SDC fee of 68,000. Just to cover the
Like-
cost.
Yeah,
because
that's what it
this
was.
town is
It
so
was a
far
lot.
behind.
Yeah,
We decided we couldn't do that and bumped it
No.
down to 19 plus, right around.
there would be
20,000.
no building. Yeah.
Backtrack just a little bit from my understanding. So we're talking about retroactively going back to SDCs from the Red Hills development to kind of,
Or any
Prorate
SDC
this or
any SDC
proportionally-
fees, but that might be a selling, that might
okay,
be a reason why we can claim the increased capacity, which is pretty
Reasonable.
reasonable
Yeah.
to assume that 55 new homes.
But-
And even Long Timber and some of these other developments that came in after the fact, that none of those SDC fees were ever used for.
Well, the state didn't even know about Red Hills, right?
That's what Chuck was saying. I don't know exactly what that means.
So do we have like we have a master plan, obviously, for water and wastewater and stormwater, right?
Yep.
This should have been included in that master plan. I'm, like that development being in there, the capacity increases from the development.
I don't think we had one that elaborate.
When they made that plan up, they anticipated a 2% possible growth.
Mhm.
And with Red Hills, it went to 18 or
Yeah.
whatever it was,
Right.
growth. And so it just blew the scale off Monroe's.
Right.
Is there a
plan.
timeline on when we would need to use those SDCs or are
Those
they?
are all questions that the attorney and once we get once we have a engineer of record on, I think that a lot of those.
We should
questions
have
will be
one
answered.
probably in the next couple of months. The contract is almost done.
Okay, with the engineer of record.
Yeah, I'm hoping next month I can have council go ahead and approve that contract.
Maybe we should have a special session if it becomes available
We certainly can.
Let's get her
and
done.
move that along.
Both.
It shouldn't.
But one of the things we were gonna look at tonight was looking at SDC fees and whether it would be reasonable to change them, to increase them. To John's point, there has to be a plan though in place. And it needs to be done by resolution or ordinance. And the methodology must provide a credit also for any development done by any increased capacity done by or improvement done by the developer. So there may be some stuff we can't do tonight, but we need to get it on our.
We get our plan together and then when we have our city administrator come on board, we can go ahead and regroup, sit down and talk about that plan and see what he can do to move us forward.
Weren't we in the other chambers when we came up with 20,000 for SDC charges?
Yeah.
I
And how long
remember
has
that
been?
meeting and I
3
remember going through and
3 or 4
and being
years?
shell shocked
No, it's been
by the amount
it's
of
been 7 or
money
8 years.
7
that
or
was
8 years.
originally
So it's time to
proposed. It
maybe
was
look
like, are
at
you out of
those.
your mind?
Yeah.
I
Because
know
we
there-
have
We were like,
nobody.
that'll stop everything. We were so scared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
this has been a huge change for us because we had nobody building. And then we had Surge came in and said, hey, I'm interested in building 20 homes or whatever, but I could only do 10 right now because of wetlands.
Wetlands, yeah.
And we were like, this is the first development ever. And then it wasn't shortly after that that the Red Hills San Am paving came in and with a proposal of that was affordable housing. They were gonna build affordable housing over here and pitched us on these homes were gonna range from 210 to 225,000. And this was gonna be our new affordable housing area. And that was pitched to us, believe it or not. And between the groundbreaking of the first home to the sale of the last home, that changed a little bit
Yes,
more
it
from
did.
affordable housing. So
Yeah.
a lot has happened and we really need to revisit this and we're probably gonna need the help of the engineer to help with our methodology.
Yes.
And but it needs to be on our radar. Some of the things that we found that was, and I don't know if it's still in there, but the one form that Don gave us at the last meeting showed that our tap fees were inside of our SDC fees.
Correct.
And that is highly illegal.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
And so what we were doing was inappropriate. We were.
It was
that
like
all part
bundling
of-
them.
All part of
bundling
the
them together.
methodology. Huh?
Yeah, it was like bundling them together
Yeah.
into one place. I'd like to just interpose real quickly, kind of dovetailing on what you were saying, which was the previous time we set this SDC fees, it seems like it's actually more market driven as opposed to like driven by our particular costs. You guys are responding to the fee schedule in surrounding areas. So that seems to be a lot more of the criteria for actually defining those fees is determining, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the primary criteria for setting the fees the way they were, was trying to find a median between.
That's exactly what happened. And we
Yeah.
were right
Well,
in the middle.
And the other thing that happened is if you remember back, when they did our lands inventory, we had help from PSU. And they did look at our lands inventory because there, and what they found was we had an abundance
Yeah.
of land inventory.
Yep, yep.
And we were worried that making the SDC, because a lot of it is privately owned, like us and the Cantors and a bunch of other ones have, we could build a lot of homes on our properties. And by going with over $20,000 per lot, those individuals that had the potential of building on those were like, I'm not doing it. You kidding me? Why would I put 25, $30,000 before I could even break ground? And so that was kind of a concern, but to your point, if we do this UGB expansion stuff, we really need to look at what's going to meet the needs of our taxpayers, because we're at that weird crux where we're so small, we can't take care of some of the big problems that we need. But, we also don't want to crush it become a ghost town either. So where's the balance with what's going on?
It's where the economy of scales, we're not big enough to, the regulations don't care how small you are. And so the economy of scales are not here for us. So all of our people pay more in fees and the water and utilities than a larger city does, because it's amortized over a bigger population. Unfortunately, we're, like you say, we're at that point where if we go too high, we become a ghost town. And if you go too low, we're stuck in the same position right now.
Yeah, but if you keep dumping all these fees into the SDC charges and you can't
Can't
use
use
them,
them.
what
Yeah.
good is it?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, so that's what we're talking about, is trying to. use
When Chuck was here and started explaining a few things, the light bulb went off big time.
Well, yeah,
for
the
me.
tap fee shouldn't be on the SDC. That. I
Well,
agree with you.
all these other fees either shouldn't be into those, but who knew?
But that's why the biggest question with the attorney and the engineer record needs to be answered.
Yeah.
We haven't touched these SDC fees ever. And yet we've had an increase of 20% or 30% in population, and our capacity, we're in violation. So where in the world do we, can we retro it? That's something none of us in this room can answer. That's something that we're gonna have to get from an attorney. But it's possible that some of our strain can be addressed with those. So we really can't change the SDC fees. But we can look at the different fees, the tap fees and the other things that we have not been managing properly as a city, and that we've been lump summing into. Do you have a question?
No, I was gonna say that exact same thing. That's what I was trying to get around to, is just the fact that we have not been charging properly for the things that we need to. And so we've been basically giving it away for things that even the city has to pay for. We're not getting reimbursed for it with,
Well,
our
engineer.
engineering and all that kind of stuff. There's just been a lot of things. So that needs to be divided out. We need to make sure that at the very least recouping, not going backwards, and making sure that we've got all that for when they have to go out and do the hookup, when they go and making sure that those are things that we can touch again. Cause you're right, having them all looped in, it made it untouchable.
Can I ask a quick question? This is just from my understanding. So we are looking at having a moratorium on all new building that's happening, but how many projects prior to this, shutdown were a go?
How many permits are out?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, because right now, if this moratorium goes through, then this is a moot point, but I know it will eventually need to be addressed to move forward, but.
Well, the moratorium is that Chuck recommended was that 3 homes or less per project can be built. So the little infill that's going on around here, but you're a major project like the potential Brickyard. There's also surges, those type of things are going to have to be put on hold. But in order to be prepared for those, because there's no SDC fees been collected, there's no, we don't even know if we have a plan to. But if we come up with a plan, it's possible that one of those developers, we can say, hey, here's our situation. We can't approve it because we need A, B, and C done to our wastewater. And they could say, hey,
We'll do that work for you.
we'll do that work for you.
Communication
And
open
then-
so that they
Right.
know we're
It gets
trying
out
to
of
work
the-
with
It gets out
them.
of the chicken and the egg, and they're actually able to do that work.
Understood.
so.
So,
That
but
helps me.
having a proper SEC fee and say, well, maybe it is 35,000 or 40,000. Now that gives us more on the developer, more to, back to back the city up with for the project. So there's a lot of things that we can't answer, but yeah.
I'd like to also point out, like, market wise, it sounds like one way to look at it is that for the last couple of years, we've been a little bit too far over our skis, in a way, in
Yeah.
terms of, we're in a situation where there's a gap between our, there's some stimulation and the desire to grow, but then we don't really have the funds for that thing. So, and then the concern was if you increase the SDC fees too much, it's gonna slow down your construction, but that in a way is actually kind of what you wanna do. So one way to pump the brakes on that is to increase the
Mhm.
rates. And then the rates that you do, the ones that you do capitalize on, you'll have more funds. And you're gonna be wanting to slow down some of your development anyway. So that might be a consideration in sort of increasing those rates.
Well, one of the things is that we can't do anything to the fees until we have the plans, the capital improved plans and those other things.
Yeah.
Streets,
There's-
streets,
You can't
parks,
set anything until you know what you're doing.
wastewater and
Plans are so
and
important.
drinking water. Those are the four prongs to it.
So
So,
just to clarify, this study was done based on all those that we
Yeah.
had currently.
Yeah.
Now, which one of those, I think the park plan has to be updated, but the transportation plan is fairly recent. The comprehensive plan is recent enough. So those are, the problem is that we didn't include in here, you can only spend money on things that are included in your plan.
right.
Yeah.
And there is an every year, the city council and the city can sit down and modify what's in this list of projects. Once you add a project, then you can spend your fees on that project. So I think if you want to change your fee, then you have to go through the same major project.
Methodology. Yep.
But if
Right.
you want to add projects like the underneath the river, you
Mhm.
can simply add that to your wastewater treatment plant and then it becomes eligible for
Yeah.
fees.
Right,
But it's not in there right now. There's a boat ramp
Exactly
in
right.
there for some reason. Maybe we can put a boat ramp and put that.
Well, that made it-
No.
well, that made cut.
I think the idea behind that was for fire. Something to do with fire, being able to get down and
Rescue, for rescue.
Yeah.
suck out of the
But
river.
I'm just trying to say that these were added at the time because somebody thought they were important. And now we can modify those and take those out, and put other ones in.
I added that.
Well,
You're the.
And I believe it.
And to both John's point, and Tor's point, I think
Chase.
if we had a little bit, probably our prior city administrator didn't understand how to take care of that because that should have been part of the solution to the situation that we're in now.
Mhm.
Yes.
When you're looking at that should have been, hey, here's a possible thing in our projects. Let's have that project. Let's see what kind of fees we can use in that probably should have been.
Yeah.
And parks does need to be updated and that would be, from what I've learned, it could be very easily done. And I'm sure that the people on parks would be more than happy to put in the extra hours to rush it and get it all done. So.
And then you can simply swap out the new
Mhm.
things you came up with for the ones that are in here and it all becomes.
Yeah, that's the management of the plan though. I
Right,
mean, and
right,
having it
right.
work for us.
Right.
That should be done every year.
So
Yeah,
what do you
it's
use for
very
the-
important.
The plan so outdated
Capacity
with numbers.
If you add a new park like in Red
Once.
Hills, that could be used. You can
Or if
use
we
it.
add a new pedestrian bridge over the river. for
Right, you
access.
could, but
Yeah.
only a certain percentage of that project could be, well, actually, if there is no park in Red Hills, a higher percentage could probably be used.
Would it help you go out for a grant?
Well, we did.
There's the
That's
wetlands.
the thing.
Grants.
with
They
Right.
these
disappeared.
Plans.
We actually, there was a grant that was forfeited. So there was one that we had the money for.
Yeah, but you might need just resubmit. Might be
We
that
will.
simple.
Yeah.
Based on
You
recommendations.
might
we
have some
can resubmit
restrictions
next year.
because it's wetlands, but yeah.
So do we submit these plans to the state for review? Like, I mean, I understand the plan needs to exist and it needs to be current, it needs to be reviewed because this serves as like our pillars, right? Like as guidance on how we want to move forward. But where does this plan go?
It goes to the county and to the state. I think state is primary.
And do they stamp it with their approval? And so, I mean, and then we can shelve it and, but it's still referred to it as we need to move and groove.
Yeah, the final step for all this work is you actually have to submit it to the county or to the state. If
Okay.
that step is never taken, then you have to rely on your old documents until it's actually submitted and accepted.
So it behooves you to keep it current.
Well, I was
right?
gonna,
It may not be both. It depends on what it is. Sometimes the county, sometimes the state.
I see.
But if they're not submitted, then they're never activated. And I think that's what we're finding. There's been a lot of stuff that.
Yeah,
maybe
that
did
just
not
hasn't
get-
been.
The final step was not really done.
well, with the comp plan, we had to submit it to DLCD, if I remember
Yeah, there's
correctly.
DEQ,
And Patrick was part of that.
And it's about time for us to review it and update it too.
Just
You know,
an update.
What we might want to do, and when we get the new administrator on board, is we may want to take a look at things like that John's talking about. And let's put that on certain agendas. Maybe we do it
Mhm.
every month or every other month where it's on the planning commission agenda and a city council agenda where, hey, let's take a look at our list of projects. How are we currently looking at? What are updates on grants? What are happening? So that, because right now what John's talking about, I remember that, but that's been, what year was that?
This was done in 2021, 2020 and 2021.
So, you know, it's 5 years old and it's out of my, there was a stack of documents, so it's out of my mind, but we need to have, to your point, the pillars, we need to have the pillars guiding how we manage the city. So, 'cause right now there's a lot of water under the bridge that we haven't addressed.
And then there's a lot of water.
So one of the things that we want to look at is the fees, standard fees, and I don't know.
Well, I wanted to mention, if I can interrupt for just a
Sure.
second. I actually, on the back side of the packet are tap fees from, I went and I looked at 7 different cities on tap fees. And then on land use fees, it's back a little further in this. So in looking at the tap fees, I could only find, of the 7 cities, I can only find 3 that actually mention tap fees on their website. I didn't have time to call anybody, but this is what I found out. Harrisburg really has theirs broken out quite nicely. Also, let's see, who else? Junction City. And let's see, and then Brownsville, it looks like. And yeah, Veneta's got a couple too. So it'd give you an idea on tap fees when we split them out from SDCs, some examples. Give you an idea where folks in cities are sitting on this.
You know, what I find interesting is the cities that have updated their tap fees are also the cities around us that have had the most growth.
Very
So-
true.
So they probably went through this
Mhm.
growing pain that we're going through right now
Absolutely.
Mhm.
and said, hey, wake up. So following one of their models.
Yep.
Would probably behoove us. And I
Philomath, actually didn't have Philomath.
They didn't have them on their website. So, and the city manager over there is on vacation, so I wasn't able to get a hold of him.
I spoke to a gentleman at OAW. Was that last week I told you about that?
I think so.
Tim Tice. OAW is an awesome resource, and in the last few months, I've learned a lot more of the stuff they actually do and can do to help us. So Tim and I talked for a good 45 minutes on the phone, and he said that they would be willing to come down, sit with us, go through all of this, see where we're falling short on our fees and what we should actually be charging for water and stuff like that. And unless they go through and complete a plan for us, that it's free of charge. So they'll come sit with us, look at what we have, all that crazy fun stuff.
Free? That's a very good price.
OAW,
What is that?
Oregon Association of Water Utilities.
Oh.
We pay a fee, we're a member of it. They come out a couple times a month, visit with us, they help me with so much stuff. It's ridiculous. If I got questions, so one of the guys on the water side was in my Navy Reserve unit, so we get along really well. And then the wastewater guys, they're always calling me. I'm always calling them, talking to them, but I didn't know that they offered this service until this conversation I had with Tim last
That
week.
would be huge for us right now.
Right now, yeah. It
Absolutely.
would be a starting point, yeah.
One thing, we may not need the pedestrian bridge over the river if ODOT will put the bridge over the road 99. If they bring it up to ADA
Well,
compliant.
I think one of the biggest selling points of the pedestrian bridge was its location and keeping kids away from the highway. Because if we got 8,500 cars a day running 99, whether it's, I think that's through town. I don't know what's coming off of west.
Probably the same, if not
But-
more.
But real close.
Yeah.
And so the idea was put it more centrally, I don't know where it was gonna be.
It was gonna be closer to the lift
Near the-
station.
Kind of, yeah, over by
Yeah.
the lift station. in
Close to
that
the
area.
dam.
And it was gonna serve two purposes. Water would flow through it and wastewater would go through it. So we would solve a lot of the excavation problems and so on.
And we also wanted it big enough for our utility truck to go.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the plan also is that the base earthworks and stuff could be also incorporated into the Army Corps project.
Yes.
So that we'd also be benefiting or
Mhm.
drafting off of their effort, so
Mhm.
saving even more.
That was the whole purpose
If
of that.
trucks are gonna be going over, is the pedestrian part gonna be?
No, it'd just be
separate from that?
bollards, so there'd be bollards to keep it, so it's mostly pedestrians, but then if you needed
They
to
can
have
remove
vehicles
those.
go across.
Public
you go to
Works
the-
needed to access it. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be for.
Or emergency
regular.
vehicles or whatever,
The ones
yeah.
going over the Willamette down in Eugene have
Mhm.
bollards, but they're wide enough for utility people. to
Bikes,
actually-
yeah.
Well, the utility people could take the bollards down,
Drive the truck out. Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
right.
to do the work and stuff.
Well, I
So-
think it was easier also to get grants for the pedestrian bridge than to get ODOT to do this bridge.
Yeah.
Because their projects are so far out. I've sat on the transportation
Yeah.
committee for a few years now, and their
Yeah.
projects are so far out, even with ADA compliance and all the buzzwords,
Yeah.
that bridge is not gonna happen for a while.
How long did it take them to replace the bridge down here?
Yeah,
It was
so,
like,
because they're
Okay,
so
or
many
Big
years
county.
out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of why we were focusing the other way.
They're doing Corvallis right now, and the
I
reason
think it's still
they get to do theirs is
99
because of the
going over the
bollard.
river.
Yeah,
And the other thing this bridge doesn't maintain is earthquake.
Right. That's
Plus,
great.
the Corvallis Bridge started 50 years ago.
To put that into perspective.
To your point.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, they are seriously years out on
Yeah.
their planned projects.
You
and-
mentioned once a time frame for replacing the bridge, and it was 25 or 26 years out, I think. And they weren't
Yeah.
gonna do anything to the bridge until
Right.
they replace it, so.
Yeah, and
Or
then,
Falls down, whichever happens first.
yeah.
Anything on the 99 is ODOT's responsibility. We have no chance of like,
A wing and a prayer.
yeah.
So one of the things, I don't know if everybody got a copy of Harrisburg's, just to kind of see what it looks like. But
And
if
this
you look
is,
on the
this is their,
second page, there's a face sheet, and then if you look at the bottom, they're kind of numbered, their number. You look at number 20. You'll see where their sewer system fees and their water system fees are. And
This is awesome.
it'll look like this.
Look at how
We're so
organized
good.
this is. I know.
But theirs is, if you just look at theirs compared to ours, and we don't have ours.
Tim, look on the back at Harrisburg for the,
It tells water meters.
yeah, it'll tell you how much the meter is to install. A drop in a meter.
The cost per meter, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't usually
There's
see the
different
bills.
That would
drop-in
cover that,
meters are,
The diameter of
the diameter
pipe,
changes
yeah.
it by $100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
One,
awesome.
3/4
This
inch
is
is
awesome.
440 and 1 inch is 540.
you look at the sewer connection, 225, service deposit, tag fee, turn on fees. You look at water
Yeah,
system
That's where I
fees.
got everything for the backside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have a meter on a well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
They do, yeah.
so we need to have something separate from our SDC fees that is outlined something similar to what this is really.
Is it possible to, I mean, I don't wanna just completely copy something, but can you just actually just start with this as a format and then just remove obvious things that don't apply to actually
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, just do a
to just
template.
start to.
That's
start to-
basically what I
yeah.
started doing here, further into the packet. That's a spreadsheet that I put together.
Yeah,
And I looked at 7 different cities and various fees. These are land use fees that I included, because I think this is my opinion, that we need to start acting like a city and start charging for things so that citizens of Monroe don't have to pay for them.
That's 100% right. And that was one thing that we were ignorant. I mean,
Yeah.
I think all of us on the planning commission, I mean, I think Chris is the newest and maybe Torn, but we we've been sitting here for 15 years. And to think where we came from to where we were is pretty remarkable. And we're
Yeah.
still not where we need to be. So
We're still
Well,
learning.
we're
That's
still,
Right, That's,
that comp plan, that was huge
That
for the
was
planning
so
commission.
amazing.
oh, we were high-fiving each other. That was, that
They
was such
still
a
get-
huge
I
accomplishment.
get a visceral response when you say comp.
Well, yeah, you had to proofread, you proofread the whole thing.
Let's move
But-
on.
Sweat.
Now, the thing that really helped us with that though was the rare students, honestly.
Yeah.
We would have never,
Yep.
we would have never
Yep.
gotten through that without the rare
Absolutely.
students and
Yeah,
with
they
their
were great.
contribution, because they had the connections.
Yep.
Because this was right in their wheelhouse with
Right, They did a
PSU.
lot of the groundwork. They did the,
Absolutely.
We did community outreaches, we
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
all sorts of different stuff to make it happen.
and also we had, who was the guy that was working? RJ.
RJ,
RJ was the first.
yeah, he's a
One of our.
he's a hot shot now, and
Yeah.
he for a city
Well, we made it, didn't
Hoboken.
we?
He's like a director of planning in Hoboken, city of Hoboken, New
Oh,
Jersey.
nice.
Yeah, he's
That's
a big,
big-
and
that's a
then
big
Taylor
city.
is a director at the U of O
Very-
for donations.
We're a good training ground.
Yeah, apparently so.
Well, if we use the template and we borrow Mark's people and stuff, I think, I mean, there's
Mark's
many
people.
minds here, right? There's many minds here. And I
Some
think
of
that if
them
we
are
can start
scared.
gathering, then we can come pretty darn close ourselves and just, maybe get a little expertise to polish it off. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think so too. I think we've got some good contacts, it sounds like, and we have some good information here, and there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. I mean,
Right.
some
Yeah.
of this is, based on our size, we can accommodate and figure out what the price we want to set is, but I think it's a great start.
Oh, yeah, and you do this and we won't have to get crazy with the SDC fees, because I know within the last year, I've talked to Harrisburg on their SDC fees for comparison. And I want to say it was around 15 grand or so, 15 to 18, so.
Yeah, but in here, they're charging separately subdivision application preliminary and subdivision. They're doing all that separate from the
Yep.
SDCs, so,
So they can use the money.
so they can use the money. So, yeah,
Money.
it really makes sense.
Well,
Right there.
Right.
Yeah.
well, and one other thing too, that we need to think of, and John brought it up, is we can't look at what, that was a mistake we made, is we looked at what everybody else was spending.
Yeah.
But we didn't see what they were doing.
But we have a specific need for projects. And we didn't identify it of increasing capacity of the wastewater. It wasn't a.
To
a
be
pro- a
fair, we were told that
Something different.
there's something different. It wasn't that we were
Yes.
not doing, we were
There
not, we
is
were
that
doing due
piece.
diligence, but the
There-
information we
there-
were being told.
Yeah. and
Correct.
Was
under-
There
inaccurate.
is that piece.
I kind
Yes.
of remember that we were told that it had capacity for double the
Exactly.
population.
Yeah,
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 we-
don't worry,
And
exactly.
we kept
Yeah.
being told, don't worry, and believe it or not,
Yeah.
according to Chuck, the problem isn't on the water side, the
No.
problem is on the wastewater
And it's
side.
the pipe.
And we've been sold the whole time that it was on
The ponds
On
are
the water
fine. We
side,
just
yeah.
can't get the stuff to the ponds.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
the, so,
Right.
but, so before we, the methodology and the projects dictate what the SDC fees is. So whether it's 15 grand in Harrisburg, it may be, when they told us 68,000, we laughed them out of the room and almost threw them out with torches and pitchforks. And in reality, had we really listened to them and probably done this, maybe it would have slowed down.
I think their point was that based on how little has been done in Monroe for so many years, you would need that amount to fix Monroe up to current
Right.
standard. They said you're never going to get that. You're never going to do that. But this is what it would take based on the projects. you're
Right.
listing.
You're
Right.
behind, you gotta catch up somehow.
In that year, let's
Yes.
keep that in mind
Right.
too,
2020.
because between then and now, prices on things have gone
Mhm.
up a lot.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh
something we
my.
need to keep in mind as well.
So where are we at with the annexation over here?
We are,
Because that shouldn't stop, really.
so that Michael was working with Patrick on that, and Michael has some health issues, and his availability has been very limited.
Sure.
So
That's-
that's kind of where
That
we're at.
definitely needs to move forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the
absolutely.
UGB land swap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the pipe's under,
Mhm.
I mean, we can start building again and the
Well,
water treatment plant.
It
that's
isn't that we need
separate
to
item.
immediately start building over there. this is our one opportunity in this window,
There it is.
because there's a time limit
Mhm.
to where else are we gonna expand? And really, that's kind of our most ideal, that's where our newest infrastructure is, that's where our,
Is that gonna be a UGB land swap? And where would the swap?
No,
It's
it's
not
not.
anymore. I
It's not a
thought, yeah.
swap. No.
not a
No,
swap.
they're just
it's
gonna
a-
change the boundaries.
Right.
Okay, because I was like, it was, we talked to one point that it was a swap, and then
Yeah.
it wasn't, and then.
No, it's not a
Okay.
swap. That's right. It's not a swap. It's a one-time expansion of 50 to 100 acres. But because of the size of our city, because we're under 2,500 population, it's a lot easier for us to qualify for
Okay,
than a city of 2,500 or more. So we have a really good case to do it. And basically, it just gives us
Extra land.
extra land in the, we really can't go, we can't go.
yeah.
And we can't go, I mean, we're kind of stuck with where we can go.
Is Serge beating the door for you guys to let him do
Yes,
something?
he may be at your planning commission meeting on Monday or
Yeah.
Tuesday, excuse me, Tuesday.
No.
So,
He's the one buying it right now. It's all pending. All that land is pending right now.
Which
All
land?
that land.
Up here?
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
the
it's
annexation.
he's gonna buy it?
I see. That's good to know.
But the one thing we can control those, we can look at these fees.
I don't know what Red Hills, the Monte Vista Homes, they paid to the city or anything. Because they wanted to develop here. I grew up in a very small unincorporated area. And anytime someone wanted to build subdivisions, they made the builders pay to the city enough money to either build new elementary schools and be able to add on to the junior high and high school, you know, to accommodate these additional children.
mhm.
They also had to give the area enough money to help improve the streets because now more cars were gonna drive on them. I mean, all kinds of things. They had to do that before they could even break ground. I don't know if there's anything that Monroe has written up or is thinking of doing. That was common practice back when I was a child.
We have,
I think that they switched with that as the SDC fees.
Yeah.
We
To
did,
SDC.
we did ask for some, we asked for them to put the walking path down Orchard. That wasn't
Right.
something that was there
Right.
Yep.
before we
Well,
asked.
they had to put sidewalk in.
Yeah, that sidewalk. They put that sidewalk in. They,
The street's not ours.
Yeah, it's county.
It's county.
Orchard.
Orchard is county.
just like
county.
Ash.
Orchard and Ash.
Orchard and Ash, and that really hurts us in many
We
ways.
can't do anything to them.
So you can waive SDC fees, right, with a developer in exchange for
credits.
infrastructure work that they do. Some
Yeah.
percentage of fees
Yeah.
can be waived if they agree to do the work that
Yeah.
the city would have to do.
Yeah.
And I think
Unfortunately, I
that's
don't
what
think we
Chuck
can
was
ban
talking
those.
about. Chuck was talking about, like we were saying, hey, we'll just give, developer credit and then they can run the sewer line down to the water plant. And they say Red Hill, Brickyard.
Mhm.
And he says, time out. That's only for the wastewater. So if you're getting 20,000 and the wastewater portion is 5,000, and that credit is only 5,000, you still have 15,000 they don't get credit for. So it's, because I imagine what happened back when you were talking about probably happened in communities, and then probably where the SDC fees came in and says, hey, wait a minute, these cities are asking way too much of us. And then they probably went to an SDC fee structure. But the things that we asked them for, they provided. That sidewalk going down from their subdivision down to the grade school.
But Red Hills they did pay SDCs. We just can't,
Oh,
we
yeah,
haven't
they-
touched them.
We didn't touch it. We
I
didn't touch
know.
a single
What
one.
are SDCs used for?
It's, if you read this, it's.
It's in here.
Yeah,
It's in-
The burden can't be put on the current residents to do infrastructure improvements, capital improvement projects, so like road work and everything else. That's what we're trying to figure out. There's a lot of money in our SDC fund, but we can't use it. That's what we're trying to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been gathering that, but
Yeah, to John's point, if the city council says, hey, this is a project that we want to fall under the umbrella of the SDC fees as part of a capacity improvement or.
Capital improvement or something, yeah.
Yeah, but at what percentage is paid?
And
for that?
then the methodology, which the engineer will give you is, okay, this will be X number of dollars, X percent equals X number of dollars of your SDC fees can be used for this project.
Yeah, you just need to figure out what they consider also capital, if it's a certain amount or, because like for us, it's over a certain amount of money, and then turn it into a capital, which reduces some of the regulations that we have to deal with, so.
Yeah, there's product life you have to look at too for
Mhm.
capital. rules.
Yeah.
I have a question. The city administrator that there's an offer out to, is that?
He's accepted.
Accepted and-
So the,
Yeah.
what kind of experience does that?
So
have
I
on
sent out,
this, working with contractors?
I sent out an email with his resume attached,
Oh, okay.
but he does have experience with planning. He has dealt with DEQ in the past.
He has a master's.
Yeah.
I think he has a PhD too.
Yeah.
So he has experience mostly over on the coast in Tillamook County.
Does he have experience with grant writing? and-
A lot of experience.
Very much.
Yes.
Yes.
We have 5 different parks in this city. This is the only one really has any equipment in it, and it's geared for little kids.
Yeah.
But we have STC charges that cover parks,
Mhm.
but we can't seem to use that for
Right.
anything else,
Mhm. Yep.
anything.
I know.
But
And it's a shame because
I know.
all these parks need a swing set or something. You know, Red Hills gave us, what, 3 acres of ground that's actually a big pond, supposed to be a collection pond. And we call it a park, but
Can't do anything with it.
can't do anything.
It's a
with it.
Well,
It's a
we-
wetland.
there's a lot we can do with it.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
yeah,
some
we could
We
turn it
could, we
into
could
an
plant
nature
grass, put sprinklers in, put play equipment in, no problem at all.
Yeah, but
We could. So I was,
We just
sorry,
need to
going back, I was
complete our
told that
park
we could
plan.
not do anything in that.
The wetlands lady, or I can't remember her name now.
I
She
know,
came down
it's
to the
been a
class
minute.
for us.
Yeah.
And she said, you can moonscape it, you can scrape it to bare dirt. And that's your prerogative. There's just a certain square footage of you cannot put concrete or hard surface on. You can bark it, you can put play structures on it, you can mow it,
That is
you can
good
put
to know.
sprinkler systems in it. It can be a park, but you cannot put hard surfaces in
It
there
has to
like
have
a,
permeable
Put
surface.
42
like
houses on it.
like a concrete. You can't put tennis courts or basketball courts
Right.
or bathrooms in there.
but
What about
still,
a-
we got nothing in there.
What about a sand volleyball court?
Well, and
Yeah,
to
you
your,
could.
to your point, you know, it probably needs to be
Well, there's
itemized in our
Reservoir Heights
capital
up on
or
top of the
parks
hill.
plan improvement project, that we
Yeah.
want to do this to that.
Toddler Park.
Our
Yeah,
parks
Red
plan
Hill,
is so
remember,
out of
and
date.
then-
Our parks plan.
Did I say
says
City
that,
Park already? Yeah, I
Schools,
think I did.
their play equipment is open to the city people, but that's not true.
It's not true.
That is.
It has to be
falsehood in there,
updated.
And it has been that way for a long time.
But to your point, one of the things too is, great, we got a great park over there, 3 acre park.
Sure.
What city resources are we gonna have to be able to maintain that park? So we,
That's
that
right.
SCC fees can't pay for maintenance.
Volunteers.
I think we could get volunteers.
I think we
actually.
could get lots of volunteers. So now that we have the opportunity to get volunteers, hopefully that'll be rolling forward very soon.
I think those Red Hill people would really take care of their.
They
park.
would
Well,
love
that would
to.
benefit them greatly.
They would love to.
They have a really nice park over there
They're
that.
paying over there, man.
Hey, I live right next to that.
There's three right
We would like. a
over
park.
here.
I know, rough every time I go over there.
Yeah, you stay out of our neighborhood.
Highways are in and out, we'll just bury it up.
Yeah, so anyway, that was,
Would be
that
nice.
was,
Yeah, TNT should have a play structure because the amount of
Yeah.
kids that play baseball in that field, I mean, it is, they're hosting the district tournament this weekend. There's gonna be so many kids there.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple things, it's not accessible, it's unsafe for people that have kids, and our kids are walking across the street down here.
Mhm.
And,
True
you know,
that, yeah.
something's gonna happen eventually. And then there's nothing to do. There's Poison Oak, there's all, you know, there's all kinds of things, so.
Yeah.
It would be
that
nice to
that would
have
be the
things
other
for
thing that we'd
kids.
want to look at too, is if we do this UGB expansion, the requirement of the developer is maybe we need another safe. We need a safe carved out park out there that can accommodate maybe a baseball diamond or soccer
Well,
field or
there's
something. like that.
Basketball
There's
court.
baseball diamonds over here off the school, but the school, won't you play on them anymore.
Yeah, but that might be
That's-
something that we need to think about as part of our park plan and everything else because of the unsafe nature of.
Well, yeah, I remember we tried to get the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit taken out because people don't see it till they hit the bridge. But they're going right by a park at 45 miles an hour
Right.
At least.
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
And they're going around that corner on the bridge. They're not slowing down by the time they see the 25.
No, they're not.
And the ODOT told us someone would have to get run over before we can get that moved.
I know, it's
It's
just.
not one, it's 8.
Yeah, 8 people.
8 fatalities
Yeah.
before it gets in the matrix.
I think we should just pick. I
That's
can't
sick.
remember.
It
I'm an
is.
expert on that. You don't want to know why.
So
I have a question. I can only think of 4 parks. We got the Monroe Park that he was just talking about,
Mhm.
keep flying by. We got the wetlands, we have the Reservoir Park. We have. the
Toddler
Toddler
Park.
Where's the fifth?
This
The
one up here.
Up the hill
Mm-mm.
by the water tower.
That's a reservoir.
That's-
So across from the
we have-
library,
Just across from the library. we
That
just
whole
got
stretch of
whole
land.
Stretch all the way up to the
It's not an
cemetery.
official park yet.
It's not, we haven't done anything with
That's
it
what it's
yet,
called.
but
Hey,
Where the
entryway
other
park or
Monroe-
something, yeah.
where the Monroe sign is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of between Monroe
Yeah,
Sign
so
and
that's
Ash
gonna be
Street.
another
Yeah.
opportunity that,
it's like a natural park.
Yeah.
Weren't we, didn't we get a grant to do with the walking path?
We did, but we lost it. Sorry.
Are you gonna fence, are we gonna fence it
We
off
lost
though,
it.
from the
we do
highway?
not have money to do, that we have available to do
Not yet,
anything yet, and we have to have our perks plan done before we
Yeah.
can do anything.
Yeah.
So,
We have to get all our ducks in a row.
yeah, we gotta get ducks in a row
Yeah,
first,
no.
so.
So I didn't know, Mr. Chair, if we wanted to, I wanted to point out that I did find that one of the cities has an urban growth boundary amendment. And that was actually the city of Brownsville, I think. But all these other land use fees that I sorted out and put into the spreadsheet, didn't know if you wanted to take the time tonight, or if you want to do this in your next planning commission meeting, or several planning commission meetings to, kind of figure out where you guys want to go with possibly charging some of these fees.
I agree with you completely. I think,
What's on our docket next week?
why don't we address this on Monday night in our meeting?
Well, we can do that.
Tuesday
but
night.
What's on our docket? Nothing.
Yeah.
If
It
the
may
building's-
change. The night may change.
What I wanted to bring up is
The
that
night
gonna
may
stay
change for planning commission. So
Mondays.
That might change, okay.
it may, so,
I have
yeah.
a conflict with
What does
Tuesday.
everybody feel? What's the general consensus? Do we want to go through some of these tonight and make suggestions, or what do you feel?
Well, there's several things on here you can just wipe right off, like the library. And just stick with the basics, water, sewer, and storm drain.
No, I wasn't talking about those.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the land,
Back
just the
page,
land
very
use
last
fees,
page.
land use fees. That's all I'm talking about.
Those are,
Me?
yeah, so he's kind of put a matrix together with what other cities are charging for the,
Like your
Water
drainage
system fees.
application.
After 23.
So do we,
Let's start.
do we have a list of current Monroe fees that we can
Submit 'em.
start from?
Most of our fees aren't, I don't know if we have a lot of.
I know there's a fee to.
So Monroe has, let me see here.
That's an.
Is Monroe fees in here?
No, I don't have Monroe fees in here, but I could probably tell you.
We have
Yeah.
no fee?
We have a conditional use permit app. I don't know how much we charge. Uh,
$5 or something.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We need to
So they're
change, we need to
spending?
update our fees.
oh, why are they special? Because they don't have anything
I think it would be helpful.
I'm not
if
seeing
we-
anything.
No, you
if
see the
we
price
use this
differences?
matrix, But if we had Monroe.
on this page, the last page.
What we have and what
Yeah.
we're charging.
Am I oh, you're looking at the other one. Okay. let me
There,
look there.
Monroe has very few, and the fees that we have are ridiculously low.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
think
now I
that's
see
what
what
we
you're
need to
looking
start.
at.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Right off the bat.
You want to do that for Tuesday
Why don't we
night?
do that? Why don't we, the
Okay.
planning commission, if we can get copies of what our current fees are,
Right.
the planning commission will go down and narrow it down. We will include our recommendation and then send you, and then you can review it against these other cities. And we'll do a before and after, current and suggested fee
One thing,
and to get to you.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but one thing we did discuss with Michael was that pre-app conference.
Yeah, yeah, and we have that. We charge $250, and that's on here as well. It's kind of interesting to look at what other cities charge for the pre-app fee. I think it is on the second page. Yeah, Coburg charges $200 an hour. Cottage Grove charges $250. Harrisburg has like a 2-tier thing going on. Junction City charges $45 per hour just to have the planner there. They charge additional if you add like the Public Works Director and the Fire Chief. And then let's see, Philomath is $250, Veneta is $500.
So just, I think we suggested 400, but what this is for, just so everybody understands what this is for. So this isn't for the little guy that's coming in to build 3 homes or 2 homes or a home. This is for the major developer that comes in and says, hey, like, you know, like a Red Hills were to do, or a Brickyard or whatever. And they come in and say, hey, we want to put 20, 10, 15, 20 homes in. So then we need to have the fire chief there. We need to have our engineer there. We need to have our planner there. We need to have our public works there. So by the time you start adding up all their time and all their, now all of a sudden, we're giving all that away for free. We're being charged by the engineer to be there. We're being, you know, the fire chief's time is valuable. They're not able to do what they need to do, you know, so by the time you add it up, what is that really? The prep and the involvement of that. Is it an hour meeting? Is it a 2-hour meeting? I don't think we should charge by the hour because that's,
no,
I think we should
it's
just have a
necessary.
flat fee. So it's,
It makes
but
it
we
simpler.
need to be making sure that the taxpayers aren't paying for that meeting of a developer.
And how do you divvy up the money?
And one of the things that,
I mean, the fire chief doesn't belong to the city here. He
So I mean,
belongs to
that's
the
a
fire
conversation, that's a conversation we can have with him.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already had 3 application meetings with Michael. So we've already charged for 3, $250, so I mean, $750 already. And the fire chief hasn't been there. I don't even know if you've been there. I think it's just been with
I've
Michael.
been,
Were you at one of them?
been at 2,
2 of them? Okay.
1.5.
Has
One
the
and a
fire
half.
chief been notified?
There's one, wasn't it for Surge for over the Brickyard? Fire chief definitely wants to be on that one.
So everything does already go through the fire chief. It's just a separate time. So basically everything that I've approached him about that's been going on, he either has knowledge of or does not have knowledge of. So everybody still has to go to him for approval at some point.
Does he sign off on something so the city can say, yes, we got approval from fire chief, or is this all done in a handshake?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
verbal.
saw that.
No, I
Wink,
think
wink thing.
He's,
I think he does sign off on something. He
Okay.
gets all permits for this area in the county, get emails in. I'm trying to get on that email chain as
Okay.
well.
I just want to make sure that we have, when we,
Yeah.
that we have that validation, because we've had a problem in the past where things didn't quite get followed through on, like, engineers said do this, and then nobody checked on if they did that, and I just would like to see that
And-
stop.
And that's the other purpose of this meeting is any of the red flags, any of the stumbling blocks that, you know, maybe he sees something that
right.
the engineer doesn't aware of because it's personal knowledge, but you know, so the developer leaves there with a clear understanding of what they need to do, what their architects or engineers need to accomplish. That
And they know it
what we
sooner.
require as a city.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
that's the purpose of the pre-application meeting and saying, hey, here's what we expect in our parks. Because they typically, like the Brickyard, the first preliminary plan that we saw from them did not include a park or anything else. They wanted to just jam pack it with as many homes as possible. And of course, that's not acceptable.
That's
You
why
know,
the fire chief wanted to look at it.
yeah, so that's the other thing is that's where we get in that's where the planner and the engineers and everything goes, say, hey, here's our comp plan, here's our Riverside District overlay, here's our,
Right.
no, here's what we want. If you want to move forward, this is what we require. And the fire chief says, no, this is what I require. I want hammerhead here. I want, this is what our roadways need to be made of, you know, as far as compaction, as far as weight. And so it sends them out, and if they decide to go with it, at least everybody's on the same page and there's no surprises that, you know, not detailed notes are taken. So it's an important, before we weren't doing any of that. They would come in and
Yeah.
throw throw a plan on our desk. We'd say, okay, go to county. And it was it. And sadly, unfortunately, that's how we operated.
We need to be more aware of what's going on in our own town.
Well, the county needs to get more involved in giving information back to either Mark or
That would be nice.
the manager.
Yeah.
Because we've seen too many things get approved and city has no knowledge of it.
Yeah.
So, and then inspections.
Mhm.
Who does
Yeah.
final inspections?
Right.
Who does inspections while things are being built?
Right.
Making sure the electricity's
I
in the
thought we
right,
had-
and the water.
I thought we had like a checklist. Didn't we have it when
Yeah.
people signed off on?
Well, after the fact, but is
Yeah.
it being followed still?
Well, I was shocked living in Red Hills who did our inspection. It was Steve.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
He
did sure everything is just hunky dory.
and to your point, that's what we learned is.
I was
we
there
learned
that day too.
We learned that normally the engineer of record in most cities is contracted through the cities to go and do, okay.
Really?
This
Oh,
is
okay.
what the
Yeah, I
engineer
learned something
approved.
new every day.
That's how
And
it's
so-
supposed to happen.
And so we went and said, hey, why wasn't this done? And the engineer of record said, the city has never
Check
completed
the
that
box.
agreement. That was never part of our,
I thought we had that
and he said, we were even surprised that wasn't part of your deal. And because we do it at every other city. So they would come out and check grade and validate
Electrical,
that,
yeah.
Yep.
that all
stuff,
that, and none of that was done.
That was Steve, yeah.
And so that's why we actually put in something in our,
That's what I
That was
thought.
when I
we
first
put
We
met
had
something in
to.
the checklist where that was gonna be, there's gonna be a
Right.
fee, a $250 fee or something like that
Yeah.
for the inspection or.
Maybe we better go over that. huh?
Yeah, so. make
There is
sure
a
that's
point
in there.
in inspections where Public Works does have to come out, and that's what Steve was doing, was the Public Works
I see.
portion of that. But I don't know.
Kind of explains some
Well,
things.
I know on my
about costs,
example, I
doesn't
mean,
it?
mine was within the last year,
Yeah.
and I had to have inspections on everything. So, and it was the
Yeah.
county that came out, I mean,
Right.
from the
Occupancy.
cut to the fill to the.
And that's the thing, is the county does the building and does your compaction and, your footing, and all that kind of stuff, but the actual slope of your driveway and the
Mhm.
grade and all that, the county doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I think the fire chief does
And
that.
that's where the issue came in Red Hills, is that the water wasn't being directed
Yeah.
properly
Yeah.
and
Yeah. We paid out of
Yeah.
pocket.
Of course,
And-
we're all
and
open,
hopefully-
we're all open ground out there, so we don't even have,
yeah, and hopefully when we get the, if we get this UGB expansion done, we put a proper plan in place so that
care
whatever
of some
to
of that.
mitigate any
Yeah,
future
it
issues
has
with
to-
Red
yeah.
Hills, so that
Yeah.
water
we need
diversion or
it.
whatever we gotta do up there, so.
Did we come to a conclusion on remonstrances?
Okay, here's,
You just like saying that, don't you?
I do. That's a fur in my saddle.
do you wanna, hey, John, do you wanna address that one? Let's let John address that one. I'm getting tired of talking.
Okay, John.
There's a really good plan in place.
There's a really good plan in place, you see.
Thanks.
Okay, so timeout. You're gonna have to define what it is because Counselor Evans does not know.
Oh,
So what are they? Go ahead, explain it.
it's an agreement with the buyer of the home, the property, to eventually put in curb, gutter, sidewalk, and maybe half the road improvements when you have enough people on a, let's say, a road frontage to put all this in. Now, when like 30 years ago, it would have probably been $8,000. But nowadays, it's about $30,000 for your road frontage. Some people don't even know they have a remonstrance on their property. But then again, I just heard the other day that, well, remonstrances, they're no longer in effect because the date runs out on them.
No.
Yes, that's true.
So that what has to happen is the city has to decide to start improving streets. And then once they do that, then you can go out and ask for the remonstrances. But right now, it's been so long on so many of those. It's very,
Right,
very
right.
difficult to activate those things. So
Well, if they become outdated, then,
Yeah.
but is that true?
Well, yes, what happened, well, let me give you an example. So Chris Workman up in Philomath had this exact situation. Had all these remonstrances for this roadway, and a developer came in and put a development in. And so he went and said, okay, that's on that side of the street. Now he went to all those homeowners and said, hey, it's time to collect up on your remonstrance. They took him to court and the city of Philomath lost. They lost $200,000 worth of remonstrances because remonstrances expire. So what does not expire is a development agreement. So rather than terming it as a remonstrance, you can have a development agreement, which is binding and follows the title for the length,
Okay.
forever. And so that's one thing they learned through the legal process is that remonstrances aren't worth the paper they're written on anymore.
That doesn't, sorry to interrupt, but that doesn't really help you with existing,
Right.
homes where
Ones
you're,
that are
where
active,
we're,
yeah.
where we're trying to find ways to have homeowners participate in
Right.
the improvements of streets.
Right. And that was the only thing binding that you could do. For example, when the discussion came up originally when Serge was putting his homes in there, and the reason we didn't require curb gutter sidewalk is because in some of those places, it was 2 homes and nothing for 100 yards. So where does that curb gutter and sidewalk go?
And you gotta deal with grade.
And you gotta deal with grade and where, okay, runs down the curb and gutter, and then where's it go? And then where does that, the kid can ride the bike between 2 houses and that, I mean, it just made no sense to require that. So we put a remonstrance in that, hey, when you do develop the rest of it, because at the time, he was battling with wetlands and it could have been 6-8 years. Well, it's just now coming, it's what, 5 years later or 6 years later?
Yeah,
now?
it was
Oh, wow.
it was pre.
It's been a while.
So there was a lot of, angst about us
So-
not requiring it at the time, but if you go look at each one of those homes over there, they're no more than 2 homes wide. So what
So
is the
going
justification and adding that when we could just, he's got to tear up the whole street and everything anyway, we'll just go ahead and do it when that happens. So
So going forward, you don't have remonstrances from now on, you have to
have
title
a
it
development agreement.
as a development.
Or I think
agreement.
that's what he called it.
Okay.
I
development
think
agreement.
so. Yeah.
And then that's locked into your title and follows
And
your,
it doesn't
the
expire.
homeownership.
Isn't there a way, I know where I grew up at one time, we lived on a gravel street. And I don't know what the agreements was, I was just a kid, right? But at one time, the city came in and paved it, charged all the homeowners. And I know there was no remonstrance or any development agreement. Because a lot of the houses in this area were built before the city became a city.
Yeah, it may have been a bond thing or.
I think it was probably voted on, but I think that's the one thing we might want to look at. But all the property owners paid like 33 cents a foot, linear foot for their part of it. So it didn't matter what the appraised cost was, everybody paid a fair share.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
Well,
Sign me up.
Back
I'll be
then.
down.
I'm talking
Those were the
I'll do
days.
this.
Before you were
Yeah.
born.
Yeah, I will too.
So,
You can buy gas at 8 cents.
so just circling back around, we'll work on the fees at our next meeting. And to your point, the pillars, that needs to guide our actions that we take. We lost sight of where we need to be putting our emphasis on. And we may or may not have missed out on a lot of potential improvements, capacity improvements that we could have made. I mean, I don't know. what
Well,
your
I think
opinion is, John.
we got off to a good start, but it wasn't maintained like everything
Right,
else.
right.
It's something you have to do every year, every 2 years, is go back and review your city goals and stuff, and then see if those still match the work that has to be
Right.
done, and then you add, and then you look at other projects.
new
that can
work,
come,
yeah,
and then you
that's-
Build them in, so it's just an ongoing, it's meant to be an ongoing thing, not once every 10 years, you.
We need to
Right.
have like a city calendar and
Exactly.
put it on and like every time something comes up, just put it on the calendar
Right.
so that we
Yeah.
don't
We
forget.
can
it.
put development code on this as well.
Yeah.
The city's development code needs to be updated.
Yeah.
So.
I know the site review application is $400, so we have that one. You know that.
I like the
So-
public dance fee.
Oh, yes.
Public dance fee, I like that.
Ones in there, yeah.
That was for Junction City
Some
though,
people
probably
should
for
charge
the.
more than
Some
others.
people should be charged a lot.
But the
Oh, is it
calendar,
Harrisburg?
the
Okay.
calendar idea
Well,
is
they
a good
have
idea.
big
We should
days
do
a
that
couple
where we,
times a year, so.
I just have a
that is,
master
plug it
calendar.
right into the
Yeah.
agenda, whether, hey, where are we at with?
Yeah, I just have to figure out a way to do that so that it's visible to everybody and it carries over and
On our new city website.
maybe, I don't know.
So we
Working on
then
that
need
too.
to contact the city attorney then and see if we can use some of these SDCs retroactively for capacity improvements on the,
That would be a Chuck and an attorney question.
Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
I mean, but that's kind of what we would like to, that would be ideal in this situation, correct?
Could be helpful.
Well, we got future plans to build, right?
No, because it's all gonna go in a,
Just want to read through it.
Yeah.
it's all gonna be kaput.
Well, you didn't have the moratorium, but you'd have future plans to build, which would be
True, yeah. but that would-
expansion.
Mhm.
So,
So,
and like John just mentioned, we need to make sure that that's in the plan or in.
Mhm.
What we can,
Yep.
yeah, it
Because
does,
if
because
it's not
we
in there,
can't
we-
use that if it's
Doesn't
not in
matter how
the
much money
plan.
we have, if it's just in the plan, we can't touch it yet.
So is that something that you guys would review and then bring to us, or is that something we need to have other meetings for? I
Probably
mean,
bring it to
Parks,
them, wouldn't we?
Parks Committee can do parks.
Mhm,
What,
right.
what else needs to be updated?
So
Public Works probably would be.
Public work.
public.
Okay.
I think we
Can
first
I-
have to look
can I
at
see-
when
I
the
write
last
plans for a
plans were
living.
done.
Let me,
So
give me the
comprehensive plan
plans and I will help
is-
do what.
You sure you want to do that?
I
There is
do,
a
because it's my
transportation
jam,
plan.
man.
Two thousand
Which plan do
nineteen.
you want first?
Wait, so let me start with an easy one and get my feet wet and then we'll move forward.
Rather than starting all over, modify the existing plans.
Let's ask the group what they think.
And then take a look at those and start over. But we need a city administrator here to help guide them and.
Yeah,
a
the
lot of these
wastewater
are
master
questions.
plan. You know when that was updated or when was it updated?
Was that 2016?
Something like, yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. I got it sitting on the desk over at the
Yeah,
water
to
plant.
John's point, each one of those four
Right.
water, parks, streets and wastewater. Those four things, we need to have a plan for those.
Did you just say you want to build a water park?
Yeah.
That
We get a water
actually is
park
in the
for
park
6 months
plan.
every year, whether we like it or not.
That would bring
So-
people to town.
Plus you can use that water.
Okay.
But,
The transportation plan.
the transportation plan, because you did that as part
Campbell.
of, as safe routes for street.
Well, we updated it so we could do this.
Yeah, we,
Yeah.
yeah, that was.
And that was a good
long,
example with
but yeah.
his project that he did there was, he had to update it to get it.
I couldn't do it until it was.
Right.
updated.
No, that makes sense. So we have a counselor that would be interested in taking a plan and doing,
Maybe the parks plans, let me start
Or-
easy. I write plans for a living. That's what I do and I audit plans. You gotta do what you say you're doing and you have to verify and validate and that's what I do for a living. So, yeah, I can,
Can you
There's
talk to
more
my
in-
husband?
More information for that too, so. what
okay, I
may
mean, I
help
will
you
take a
collect-
stab
yeah.
at it and then I'll give it to the
Yeah.
group and then you
Yeah.
can tell me if I'm veering off in the
Well,
wrong direction or in the right
There's other
direction.
stuff though that's not
Okay.
in the plan that we've done. Anyway, we'll talk about
Okay.
it, but yeah.
That'd be great.
Want to share
Any
the
help
plan
you could
with
give.
I
Yeah.
can,
Okay. that'd be
yeah,
great.
that's fine. I mean, I've got it at home, but,
Okay.
I also want to get all
What's the
the
latest
stuff
on
from
the water
a rare
um,
sheet that's
right.
somewhere.
tank up here?
Yeah, it's on the website.
Are you guys gonna put a stir agitator in? What's up with that?
No,
That was
That
illegal.
was,
So
Oh,
that was a Steve.
that was.
There's a lot of things we can.
Okay,
cover.
so
Well,
that,
yeah,
whole
I
that
just-
whole thing, Tim, he shifted money. He had council approve it. He misguided us on that.
Okay,
We had to shift the money back. So no, we're not doing it.
Wow.
So
would it help?
I
No.
But
don't
you
think
said it's
so.
illegal.
no,
No, there was really no reason
it's a hard.
at
no.
all to do that.
There's probably some kind of.
We had to turn back a couple of our resolutions because of that.
Chuck made mention that, that's an oversized tank in the first place.
mhm.
Yes.
But I think we were just anticipating growth.
We use quite a bit of water.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I remember Doug Allen probably had a little word in trying to get that capacity up there larger than,
Well, yeah, what we had was those 3 little tanks up there
Yeah.
that kept going dry.
he wanted a little bit more fire protection water, but doesn't help us with our drinking.
I was up there with a fire truck trying to fill one of them up. It was terrible. A massive leak somewhere.
Well, Mayor, anything else you could think of?
I don't think so. I mean, it sounds like for the planning commission meeting on Tuesday, we'll go through these land
Are you
use.
still doing it Tuesday or are you gonna have it Monday?
So I have to have a conversation with a couple of people before I can change it. So I can't say yet.
What's your availability like? Are you available on Mondays? Yes.
Mondays, well, that's when I first joined Mondays. Tuesdays are hard because it's a sport night. And I'm not gonna miss my kids' sports, so
Okay.
that's
Amen
why
to that.
basketball and baseball during those seasons. Right now, we're not in it, so I'm available on Tuesdays, but once school starts, I'm not, so.
We just changed it for.
Well, we
Mike.
changed it for Michael, so
So
we.
Mondays, yeah,
we'll
Mondays
probably-
are,
We'll be changing it back if we
So
have. to do
that's the conversation I need to have, and I haven't had it yet, so.
I'm good for Monday.
So, yeah, we'd love to have you back.
Gonna talk to the planner first, see where we're at.
I can make next Tuesday work because we're not, yeah. It would be
Okay.
great.
We're gonna hear from the mayor.
So we'll land use fees, and then what else? I know Serge said he was gonna be at the planning commission meeting to probably talk to you guys about what's going on, which if Michael's not back, we don't have much of an update for him.
I was gonna ask, I don't know if it works or how it worked, but should we look at pushing all the meetings and trying to get everybody together at once after TJ comes in?
Well, the thing is, Don's telling me that Serge is calling City Hall almost every day right now. So I would like to just
Better city hall than myself.
him for a little bit. Right. Like to get him, he can come to planning commission, that's fine, but he needs to be, just cool it, dude, okay? We're working on it.
We're
So,
trying.
Him and, what's that other gal's name? Margot?
Yeah, her too, I just,
Is that the?
Yeah, no, the Brickyard.
Brickyard, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys, I'm putting the agenda together tonight and giving it to Dawn tomorrow, so.
Okay, yeah, the fees are definitely one, and then we're
Okay.
gonna,
But the fees imply that we are gonna have the current city fees that we can compare to.
Right.
Yeah, I can look all that up.
And then, as a planning commission, do we have any ability to tell, I understand why people are really frustrated. They paid their fees expecting work to be
Yeah.
done,
Right.
but we really can't do anything. I mean, is it
Well, and part of
appropriate-
this is with the county too, and some cases is with the county, other cases, the county's waiting on us. So
Yeah.
it's quite the cluster right now.
But it doesn't seem like we're really qualified to tell them what they should do next.
No,
is there-
it's
well,
it's gonna be, we're sorry, we're,
and
Can't
and we've all seen the emails from Don and everything, but we
Yeah.
individually, unfortunately, because of ex parte rules, we can't individually reach out
Right.
and have conversations with anybody. We really need to do it as a group. So the only way that they really just need to come to our.
And we can't really say, we're not to the point where we can say we're in a moratorium right now. That still is being discussed. and worked
Right.
out with
we
the
can,
county.
we can say that there's a possibility of it, but nothing's in place at this point. So,
Good to know.
We're in a transition period. We're got a new
We
fire
are.
on board. We're getting a new engineer of record.
Yep.
There's a lot of things.
a lot of things are happening. Yep, we're getting an administrative-
Even have serious discussions.
Yeah, we got a new administrative assistant starting on Monday, so, and then city administrators starting 14th and, yeah. Yeah.
So everybody's aware that Monroe Fire Department got a $2.5 million grant for seismic upgrade.
Yay.
So it's got to be used by 2027, December, end of December.
Mhm.
So there's going to be a lot of mess going on up at Commercial Street.
You know, it'd really help them is if they paved all the streets.
Hey.
Help get their fire
Can they-
trucks.
can they build us a- City Hall too while they're at it? Right, knock it over.
I don't know. They probably wouldn't. mind.
I don't think so.
Are we having any kind of a welcome celebration for our new city administrator?
Pizza.
You pay, are you gonna buy?
I thought you was.
No, I thought you were.
Pizza. Didn't we see that on an email?
That'd be nice, and we should include the new admin assistant as well.
There's a resolution, yeah.
The pizza resolution.
Share it with the group.
Well, we do a picnic sometimes or a barbecue in the summer for council and stuff, so maybe we should all do it together when, after this new city administrator.
Do like an open house thing for the citizens to come meet and then we could be there too.
Oh, no, I was just doing a barbecue, or how much money do you have? Holy cow, who you?
Hot luck.
I was gonna make room, but it's real. How much money do you got?
No, we're not.
Jeannie, you have to put the rental fee on the park, so you can get the.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Then you have to pay for the park.
Rib fee.
But,
I have a steel keg.
anyway,
Party.
we can do something like that.
Open house isn't a bad idea though.
No, and one with the public would be great too, but I don't want to do food at that. I'm just thinking of just something casual
Yeah, I
for
think
all
it'd
of
be
us.
something nice for all of us to, even, we
Yeah.
could just do it like, each one of us brings something. I mean.
Yeah, like potluck.
absolutely,
That's what we
absolutely.
normally do
That'd be
as
a
a
good idea.
potluck.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
did a community
So-
one. I'd grill burgers and dogs for that and get a lot of people through. That gets
The
people
problem
coming.
is you have to pay
I know.
for the food and we don't have water. I don't know how many times we've got to say it out loud. We don't have water, guys. We shouldn't be buying meat to feed the town when we can't give them water.
Yeah,
We need to be careful with our funds.
My fiscal conservative wife. It keeps us in check.
I was gonna point out another place we could potentially meet is that the long table behind Heritage Hall too, is that. It's kind of-
Outdoor table.
Mhm, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's a nice place.
It's a nice place.
yeah.
Well, we can look at, and we're thinking like during the week in the evening or a weekend, or
I think we should probably wait till we have our.
have him on board.
Yeah.
on
and
board
have-
to
and
see
talk
what
to
his
him.
Availability is gonna be.
Right.
Tree stays.
And we have a new admin assistant starting on Monday too. It'd be
Yeah.
nice to include.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Right, yeah, give him a week before you run through the hills.
Two and
Yeah.
There.
It's like when I get a new pet.
At addition or someone.
I make a motion we adjourn.
I agree.
His replacement.
Yeah, Mayor,
But wait,
Right.
wait.
so Counselor Williams and her husband brought things, right?
Oh, yeah.
Surprise.
No, there's lemon bars over there and I'm not taking them home. So you guys have to take some home with you, please.
Oh, thank
I like
So a
that.
reason to stick around after, okay? That was it. That's all I have.
That's
All right, well, thank you, everybody.
Bang the thingy.
What?
Bang the thing.
Bang.
Not too, yeah, not 2 hours and 45 minutes. Oh, yeah, it's good. They work out at Time and Woods.
I will give this back to you,
Yeah.
sir. It's all done.
A long time since I've felt out there.
Oh, yeah, it's such a great job for a teenager.
Oh, I know. I
It's
bet.
so good. And then they get to golf. and
Don't
it's
ask,
been
don't
great.
ask, don't ask.
I had a friend that lived right across the street from the Elks Club where I grew up,
Okay.
and that's what he did. is work the golf
Yeah,
course.
yeah, it's great.
We had everything penciled down to the wire. At the very last minute, we go to get
Really
our
helped when he had
finance
his
on our house,
employee green fence.
and they go,
Right?
Yeah.
I know.
where's your
Yeah, that's nice.
paved driveway and your gutters and your downspouts? And I go, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, the city is making that a requirement of you. You could have
I might go.
gutters and a
Yeah.
paved driveway. And I said,
Yeah, that will
I
help.
can't even swim.
where's the gutters and downspouts supposed to take the water to? I don't know. That was the city. I go to the city, I go, it was back when, what's his name? It was when Jim Menard was here. And I go, hey, what gives with this? And he goes, yeah, that's just what everybody's doing. All the other cities are doing, you just need to do it too. And I'm like, yeah, we're on 4 acres. I mean,
I
where,
enjoyed it. 'cause,
I can't get it out
you know,
to the
I played all
street.
kinds of sports, basketball, baseball.
What am I supposed to do? I don't know, that's your problem.
Oh,
And I go, okay, well, how big of a driveway do I need to pour